All right, so it looks like we're live, but let's just
Are we
make
live?
sure that we are in the world of Facebook. Let's see here.
I see. We are.
Yes, we are. All right, all right. Excuse me. So, we are here this evening for another episode of the Coaches Are in Summer Pop Up Series. And we just wanted to do these episodes over our period of hiatus from the regular show. So, you can get to know us a little bit better, find out about what we do and who we work with and how we work with them. And give you some tips and strategies in the process related to our areas of expertise. And of course, so we will stay top of mind for you while everyone is summer breaking. We don't want you to forget about us while you're at the beach.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
No way. How could they?
yes, yes. So we just wanted to show up for you a few times over the course of the summer. And tonight, I'm joined by Coach Allison Garrett, who is our resident behavioral interventionist for women on the Coaches Are In. So I'm going to let her tell you who she is in her own words.
Yes, in my own words. Well, I am Allison Garrett. I am known as a prison break coach, and I am a behavioral interventionist for women. I work primarily with women over 40 who struggle with knowing what it is that is blocking their success, and I help them break free from that so that they can live the life that they were created to live.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So, Allison, behavioral interventionist. Like,
Yes, that's a lot.
what is what is that?
A behavioral interventionist is someone who is able to identify patterns in behavior, and primarily the patterns in behavior are the things that get in our way, the things that become habits, and for the most part, things that are subconscious. So my role is to help you stop that pattern so that you're not on autopilot um, in many cases where it's considered self-sabotage.
Mm.
So I create a plan um, around that one core area where your pattern has been developed. And most people don't realize that when they try to make changes in their behavior, they attempt it at the behavioral level. But
Mhm.
as a behavioral interventionist, I help you get to the core so that you're able to dispel it from that part of your life where it's kind of ingrained in what you do and you don't even realize you're doing it.
That's really good. 'Cause I think about my own life and like kind of habits I want to break when I see like I'm doing
Right.
something that is problematic and
Hmm.
not really helping my progress, right? And
Hmm.
I want to change the behavior. And it's like, so let's take like changing your diet
Yes.
as an
That's
example.
a big one.
So I'm going to stop eating like all of the sugar that I eat and
Hmm.
eat more healthily, right? Like that's my goal. That's the behavior that I want to change. And I try to do that, and then maybe I'm successful for a little bit of time, but then eventually I fall right back into the old behaviors because I haven't gotten at the root of
Yes.
what is causing me to even like eat that food the way that
Absolutely.
I am. And
Yes.
now it could be like there could be some medical things in there,
Hmm.
right? But then it could be that, well, that is how I comfort myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm
Absolutely.
stressed, that is what I go to. And
Hmm.
don't even recognize the connection between those.
Right.
Or it could be just when certain things are happening, or I'm around certain people, just like
Yes.
anything like that. So
Yes.
really, I like you saying and appreciate you like focusing on we're not just trying to solve that surface
Hmm.
level thing, like because really that is the symptom to a deeper problem.
Absolutely. And that's the place where people find themselves once we meet. They've tried everything else, or so they think they have. So even if you use an example of, eating sugar or something that you want to stop, you get to the place where you feel like you've tried everything. But in
Mhm.
most cases, you have not identified what that root is. And even what you were saying, there are triggers to that. So there could be something simple in your life that triggers your, your connection to go to grab that sugar, where someone else would say, well, why don't you just stop? Like, you can't. And people don't think it's just that simple, but it really is getting to the root causes.
Mhm. So in the work that you do and the women that you work with, are you finding that there are certain behaviors that are more um, predominant, like they're showing up, certain behaviors that show up a lot more than other behaviors that, like, you could say a lot of women, like, kind of generalizing, a lot of women deal with this
Yes.
particular thing?
Yes, absolutely. I think for the most part, a lot of women tend to deal with not feeling worthy of good things.
Mm,
And that root cause comes from some other things that may have happened in their life. But that in itself can speak to so many other different challenges that you have. So even if you talk about food, right? So that creates an unhealthy relationship with food. I don't really feel that I'm worthy of good things. So I can eat what I want and it doesn't matter, even though I don't feel good. Or in
right.
relationships, I don't feel worthy of good things. So you tend to stay in relationships that don't serve you, or accept certain behaviors from another person or partner,
Mhm.
that you may not have if you felt worthy of good things. So I would say, if I had to pick one that was very generalized over what most women struggle with that I work with, it would be not feeling worthy of good things.
Mm. Now, do you think that they don't, do they recognize that that they don't feel worthy? Is there typically a recognition of, yeah, I really don't, or is it more like, no, no, that's not it, until you really get the breakdown, like, things that have happened to them over
Yeah,
their lives, and then the impact of that?
yeah, it's a combination. I think that's not how it would be described. So,
Mm-hmm.
no woman comes to me and say, I don't feel worthy of good things. But
Mm-hmm.
as we do a deeper dive in, and they're answering thought-provoking questions, they come to the conclusion that they don't feel worthy of good things. So I don't ever have to say to them, maybe you don't feel worthy of good things. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes their identifier after we, pick through, and sift through some of the things that they've been accustomed to saying,
Right.
and find out what it really means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I can appreciate that, like, you're saying, I don't tell them that, right?
Not at
That
all.
through the process of coaching and helping them work through their own stuff, they come to the realization of what it really is, which I think is critical
Hmm.
to getting people to the point where they are willing and ready to do the work. Because it's
Absolutely.
not, I'm not doing this because you told me I have this problem.
Right. And
Right.
that self-realization is the part that is typically missing in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of programs that women deal with or go through. So when you're um if I kind of ask them certain things that they tried already, they've tried this class, this course, this therapy, they've tried all these different things, and a lot of them have not gotten to the point of self realizing that this is their problem.
Mm-hmm.
um and that also creates the lasting change. So I could tell you to stop doing something. I could tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. I could tell you all the benefits of not doing it, and I could even tell you the side effects and the tragedies that will continue to occur in your life by doing it. But although all those things may sound horrible, it's not enough.
Right.
They have to see themselves at cause, not at fault. But
Mm-hmm.
true change only comes when you see yourself at cause. And the only way you can do that is to identify that that's exactly what my problem is. And then now we have a place to go from there.
Mm-hmm. Right. So sticking with the sugar and healthy eating thing, like, you can tell me
I can
that if
tell
I
you.
stop, my stomach will get flatter. And
And we
it's
know that it
I
probably
want
will.
that to happen. It
We
might
know
not be
that. we
To
heard
get me to
it.
stop.
We've heard it. We've seen it. We know what to do and what not to do. This is not a, this is not
Right.
a you don't really know. Especially if
That's
I'm working with
good.
women, 40 up and at 40 plus, we already know what we're doing, right? We
Right.
just haven't been able to identify how to stop it because we're not getting to the root cause. We just
Yeah.
keep talking about what's happening, and how we don't know, how to move forward. So yeah, we know.
Yeah. That I'm glad you said that. Because that's really good. Because it's not an issue of having a lack of knowledge.
No.
So it doesn't make sense to continue to kind of go follow this path and this path and this path. Like I'm looking for, like I'm looking for a health and wellness coach who is going to tell me something different about how I eat or what I eat, and that's going to
Right.
be the thing that's going
Yes.
to help me make the change.
Hmm.
And it's like if you've actually been dealing with this for a while in
Hmm.
terms of like trying to change the behavior and you haven't been able to um, like definitively change the behavior and not fall back, right?
Right.
You've probably heard it all already.
Yes, for sure.
Probably know it all. You could probably go and write the book on it, right? So
Exactly.
not a lack of knowledge in
No.
terms of I don't know what I should eat, how I should eat, when I should eat, just
Hmm.
like I don't know how bad the sugar is for me. Just I don't know that it helps exacerbate these like other issues. Like all of that.
Right.
What you don't know is why you actually can't change the behavior because you don't know
Absolutely.
what's behind the behavior.
Hmm. Or you've created reasons that you believe are the reasons why.
Hmm.
Um, it would be sort of like, if I don't have coffee in the morning, I'll crash throughout the day. I'll crash in the middle of the
Hmm.
day, right? So that's just an example of something that we've told ourselves as to why we can't stop. So even
Hmm.
that's not the truth, because that was just created to mask and help you feel better about the real problem that you're dealing with. So I get down and dirty with my clients, and I don't let too much slip past, because I know in my life, um things that I have had to overcome had to come with somebody being real with me. And it
Hmm.
could no longer be, well, we understand, and this is what you're going through, and this is what you've been through, and this is why you do. No, no, no. At some point, do you want to live the life that you were created to live or not? It's
Hmm.
really, and we don't have time to waste.
Right. Right. Yeah. So good. So good. Um, so talk a little bit about how your process works
Hmm.
with these women. Obviously, without giving away
Yes.
trade secrets,
Yes,
but
yes, I know.
like what is that experience like?
Yeah, so the experience starts with an assessment, a breakthrough assessment, and it's a series of questions that identifies lots of different things about um, her personality, and I give an in-depth description of what each personality trait means, and also let them know that there's certain things about your personality that you created to deal with this situation, and it's likely been going on for a very long time. So it starts with a 30-minute breakthrough discovery session. And during that discovery session, I will identify the core challenge that they're dealing with and the one thing that they do to compensate for that challenge.
Hmm.
So initially, if they felt like they could do it on their own, they could walk away after that assessment and know what that core is and know what they're doing to compensate with it. Most women are unable to move along in that process on their own, um, and even if they think they can, they might start out doing things on their own, and then they'll find themselves still back being stuck. So I work with them for over a period of 12 weeks to 6 months, and that's initially to kind of get them to understand what that behavior is, and then we identify everything that is connected to that behavior.
Hmm.
So let's just say if that behavior, like you use sugar, right? Um, we would do an exercise where sugar is the main focus, and you're going to tell me everything that relates to sugar, whether it's words, foods, questions, people. And then we pull stories out of each of those scenarios and we identify where this started. So then we kind of work backwards and create a whole new understanding around the word or idea or problem with sugar. And now it's the cognitive change. So literally the brain will change to form new information, because the problem is there's no new information going in, so you're still operating on autopilot. So it's a mix of online learning and training with me and some one-on-one in a group setting, so that you have some allies, and just create new connections and you don't feel like you're alone.
Right. So I'm going to go back to the start of your response, when you said that some of the things about your personality are things that you created to,
Yes.
to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
That is so deep, so powerful. Like, literally, I'm like, I had to keep from like interrupting you right there, because I'm like, okay, I don't wear a wig, but you snatched it, right? And I'm like, girl, you need to go check yourself for real. Like, because you know how we say, like, that's just how I am.
That's just how I
That's
am.
what, that's how I've been.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yes.
like, I need to reevaluate myself.
Hey, that's what we do, right?
Yeah, like I'm not saying that for the viewers. I'm like literally like,
Right. You're like, but that's not those aha moments, right? Because that's the on serious talk. People feel like the things about them that they want to change are negative. I start out initially just letting everyone know that it just is. This is the person and the personality that you created to deal with your life when something happened. And now that has become your coping mechanism, but it's not working anymore. So it's literally deconstructing that personality that you created, especially if it's in your way. Now, if your personality is not stopping you from having, being, and doing all that you want to do, then there's no need to, no need to dig deep, right? Keep going. But I think when you start to feel like it's really all about just that maximum potential, right? Most of us just scratch the surface. And if I'm telling you that this one thing is blocking you from reaching your maximum potential, why wouldn't you want to explore that? I encourage people to take the assessment just to explore having a better understanding of why they do what they do, whether you feel like you have a problem or not.
mm, that's good. That's good.
You're like pondering on that.
I'm just like, okay, like Cherita. This is like that come to yourself moment, and it's just like, girl,
Well,
you
the coaches are in.
right. Right. And like, because there are things that happen to you and
Yeah.
experiences that you have,
Hmm.
even things that you just observe, that you do create these response
Hmm.
like mechanisms or like coping mechanisms in response to it, that you may not even realize you developed, and you're walking around thinking that like something didn't really impact you because maybe you didn't get depressed, you ain't walking around crying, and
Right.
you still moving like you normally move, but that really may not be the case. And then you're in relationship or an engagement with someone else, and they're
Yes.
like mirroring yourself like back to you and like
There you
telling
go.
you who you are, and
Yes.
you're like, either you don't believe them or you're just like, but that's just who I am. And it's
Hmm.
like, but that wasn't who you were created to be.
Yes. That's the
Something
big part.
happened along the
Hmm.
way
Hmm.
that caused you to begin to act this way.
Yes. It was that. There's a moment, and I describe it to women as it's that moment where something happened to you and you subconsciously decided that you never wanted to feel that way again. So this is the person I'm going to be. So
Mhm.
if I use an example of if somebody was always yelling at me, right, when I was younger, and they always just yelled and yelled and yelled, and I decided that I was not going to speak up anymore, right? Because every time I tried to speak up, somebody yelled at me. So in my mind, at 7 or 8, I could really make a subconscious decision that I never want to be yelled at anymore. So I'm just not going to speak up. And then you
Mhm.
go through life and then you're not speaking up, and you just say, that's just how I am. I just never been that way. I don't care to share my feelings. I just keep it inside. I stuff things. It's not that important. So you create all these messages around that one incident, and that's who you become. But that's not how you designed. I did not
Mhm.
create you to not be able to speak up and share your voice, or say things that you need to say. And it will hinder every area of your life. It will
Right.
impact your personal relationships, your professional relationships, your romantic relationships. Everything that you do would require that, but you are still trapped
Mhm.
mentally trying to protect yourself from being yelled at.
Mhm. That's good. That's good. It's like
And it's
whoever
never really, like when people get learn that thing, they're never really like no way, like they are the ones that, like, tell me more. They're getting
Right,
to it, and tell me the first
right.
time where you felt that way. They can literally go right back to that instance
Mhm.
all those years ago. They may not even have all the details, but they'll say, I can remember. Or like you said earlier, it's a reoccurring thing, or everywhere I go, this is what has happened to me, or it's kind of like that's those patterns. So we got to
Mhm.
dismantle the patterns so that
Yeah.
you could live. And it's just like that weight will be lifted. Like once you can actually do the thing that you've been bound for so long,
Mhm.
it's very liberating. You'll be who you were created to be.
Right, right, right. I just hope whoever views this kind of just gets that. Like, and I
Yeah.
know not everything that drops is going to hit everybody the
Mhm.
same
I
way.
know.
Like, even if that statement does not move you, I'm gonna say to the viewer, stand still and meditate on that
And
for a
listen.
minute. Because even if it didn't move you,
Mhm.
actually, if it didn't move you, you probably really need to meditate on
Look,
it.
that's just how I am. That ain't me. I don't know what she's talking about. That's for them people.
Right, right. But that, yeah, like your personality, at least
Mhm.
part of your personality are things that you created, really, like to
Yes,
protect yourself, and you don't
absolutely.
even
Don't even
realize
know it.
it. Ooh,
Mhm.
yeah. Hopefully, I can get that out of my head so I can go to sleep tonight.
Write it
I,
down.
I don't want to do the deep psychological dive tonight because I've
Get a
had
little
long.
notebook, jot down your thoughts, dump, do it to dump.
Right.
Don't hold on to that.
Yes, but I mean, there are some things coming to me right now that I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, that was probably that. And the thing is, you can you can do this work, and everybody around you is likely going to benefit
Oh, for
from it,
sure. Mhm.
right?
They
But
might
it's
thank
not
me.
right. But it's not about those people. It's really not about
Mhm.
your husband, your spouse, your partner. It's not really
Mhm.
about your children, even though they will be on the receiving side of the positive things that come out of this.
Mhm.
It's really about you, right?
Yes.
And you being able to, like I've been saying for years, kind of like stepping fully into the power of who you are,
Yep.
right? Being able to do that, and then what that means for you,
Mhm.
right? And how you can now position yourself to go after things that you would not have gone after before. How you now will speak up, whereas before
For
you would have
sure.
just taken what was given to you or left over for you or whatever. You
Mhm.
being able to like recognize that you do deserve good things and you're
Yes.
worthy of good things, and that has nothing to do with what you do, right? Like you
Right.
don't have to
Absolutely
do
not.
or be something to be
Yes.
worthy. You just already are, and the
Mhm.
power in that, and how it could literally change your entire life.
Everything. Because
Yeah.
that's really what it is. It's understanding that um it's not it's not anything that you have to earn. And that's the challenge with what we believe when we're trying to, make changes. We think that we are not good enough, or we can't, or maybe, we even tell ourselves that maybe it's just not for me. Maybe that's just for other people.
Hmm.
But I like to tell people that, it's your birthright. It's your birthright to live a truly happy, a happy life, right? And not just pretending to be happy. Like you
Right.
literally, like you can literally enjoy everything about your life.
Hmm.
One of the exercises that I take women through, one of the very first exercises is getting them to recognize the things that they appreciate about their environment. And for some
Hmm.
women, it's a struggle. They
Right.
they can't, they're in their environment. They can't really think of one thing that they can appreciate about it. And then you
Hmm.
wonder why you can't produce anything in that environment,
Hmm.
because you can't even find this, just the simple thing. So it's just little things in baby steps.
Hmm.
Um, but and then repetitive exercises that keep people on that path, and then they'll remember it. And now you've created a whole new system of things. So just
Right.
like you were automatically doing that thing, now you're automatically doing the other thing. So you're not really stopping old behavior, but you're creating new patterns and new behaviors that will just replace the old behaviors.
Hmm. Okay. So, what role do you think, like self-reflection, plays into all of this?
Um, Probably 95%.
Hmm.
It's um because that's what is an indicator to me that someone is really ready.
Hmm.
And self-reflection is key to any behavioral change, or any any moving forward from where you are to where you want to be. There has to be different levels
Right.
as well of self-reflection. So many people really have only identified self-reflection at a very basic level, right? Like I could say, I know I'm stubborn, or I know I'm a procrastinator, or like things of that nature. They'll accept
Hmm.
those things. But when you go a little bit deeper, that's the part where they have to have the awareness of that. Like, what does that really mean? Because
Right.
it's just language that we create to not really say the real thing that it is. Like, you know what I mean? So those are words that we use because they just sound flowery. They sound better because a lot of people say that, oh, yeah, I'm a procrastinator. But, when you dig a little bit deeper, that's not really what it is.
Hmm. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. So, I want to make sure that our viewers know how to connect with you to learn more, get this experience,
Yes.
maybe do the assessment that you
Yes.
offer, and then recognize that
Just a
they
little
need.
bit more. Like you could walk away with just knowing them two
Yeah.
things, and you could be all right. But I think it's just the awareness piece will get you to thinking, similar to just what you were
Right.
sharing with your experience. But I mean, I'm on all platforms, but I'm on Instagram at Allison T Garrett. I'm here on Facebook as Allison T Garrett, and my website is prisonbreakcoach.com. I would be happy to hear from all of you.
Yes. Yes. And we are getting closer and closer to the start of season 2 of The Coaches Are In. Um,
Yes.
we're going to be doing some things a little bit different this season, add a few things. Yeah. So we're really looking forward to it. And we're getting prepared for you all. And just, hope that it continues to provide value to you and you enjoy it. We want it to be fun. We always laughing.
Yes. I know the behind the scenes is really, they should pay for that.
Right. Right, right. So yeah, we are getting ready for you all. We're looking forward to it and hope that you are excited about it as well. I think right now we're looking at in October launch date of season 2.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yes, I know.
excited.
I'm so excited.
Yes, yes, yes. So I want to thank you all. Hey there, Joyce. I want to thank you all for joining in
Thank
this
you.
evening. And we'll be back in about 2 weeks with another pop up.
Mhm.
We get to learn a little bit more about me and the work
Yes,
that I do. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and then we'll be gearing up for season
Be
2.
ready to go. The coaches are in.
Yes. All right. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Make sure you leave your stars and thumbs up and all that good stuff to let us know that you watched and that you enjoyed. All right. Good night, ladies.
Good night.